lately people are in a bit of a buzz over something called yellow paint, and at first I was confused because for a while I had no idea what that even meant. I mean, what exactly does yellow paint mean? Well, apparently yellow paint in video games is what happens when level designers aren't good enough at their job. Yeah, so if it wasn't obvious where I sit on this side of the issue already, I can't stand the idea of yellow paint. And it doesn't surprise me that when this issue blows up, it's because of an example like this. I mean, look at it. It's already extremely obvious that you're meant to climb this. Really, like, look at the outcroppings. There's random patches of this wall that are just perfectly flat and suited for climbing on. And you're telling me you still thought it wasn't obvious enough. Crazy. Just crazy. Are yellow paint defenders real? If they are, for the love of God, don't tell them about the OG Zelda. And how is this even here? Don't tell me that this land was just shaped that way. I mean, rock formations don't form this way, so it's already unrealistic. The fact that they felt the need to make it look even more out of place and stupid with paint blows my mind. Did the level designers really have so little confidence in their own abilities? And that's really what it boils down to, in my opinion. A good level designer doesn't need silly tricks like yellow paint in order to explain to the player where they need to go. Look at this area in Metroid Prime, for example. Notice those stairs. Notice how the stairs, which are stairs, are stairs. I mean, do you see how much more ridiculous this would look with paint on it? Actually, let's talk about Metroid Prime for a minute, because if we're going to use it as a positive example, there is one thing about it that I really don't like. The timed hint system. Every time you make progress in this game by accomplishing a major milestone, a timer starts. And if the timer finishes before you get to your next objective, a little pop-up box appears, prompting you to open your map. Once you do open the map, it zooms out very slowly from your location and inchworms its way out of the region you're in, into the region your objective is in, and finally shows you where you need to be next. And honestly, even though I described it as a hint system, it's really more like a condescending, "Oh, how is it taking you this long? Just here. You're supposed to be here. This is where you need to be." Jeez. See what I mean? Like, this system could have been so much less intrusive and annoying if it was a pop-up at the top of your screen that lasts for, like, 2 seconds telling you there's some kind of weirdness going on in some general area. But the fact that it has to stop everything to tell you exactly where you need to go because you took a little too long is obnoxious. I have been playing this game for my entire life, so I know where everything is all too damn well. And besides that, I thought the fun of Metroidvania games is figuring out through memory where you're supposed to be. I mean, the game does not need this intrusive hint system. Okay, Frog from the future here. So, I did some looking up, and it turns out that this game I've been playing for 20 years, you can turn off the hint system. I didn't know that. A little embarrassing. But I will still say that if you're going to have hints in a game, they should be more like hints, not like, dead giveaway. This is where you need to be. Go here. When you see a wave beam door on your way to get the boost ball, you remember it. It sticks with you. And when you finally do get the wave beam, you couldn't be more excited to go see what was behind it. The design is ingenious, so to undermine it by just blatantly telling you where you need to be is just such a disappointing move. I feel like the team must have worked really hard to make it so that, every part of this game's design almost sort of psychologically relays to you where you may need to be next, with all these doors that are locked, all these things you can't access yet. And then for just one guy on the design team to be like, well, what if instead of doing it subtly, we just literally told them where they need to go? Besides that, though, a good game designer doesn't need yellow paint in order to make it obvious what the player is supposed to do, or where the player is supposed to go. He finds a way to make it obvious using the environment. Another big problem I have with it is just how immersion breaking it is. I've seen plenty of people suggest that having it be yellow paint makes it blend in with the environment. Sorry, not for me. I mean, for a while it just confused me a little bit, but now that I understand why it's there, it just takes me out of the experience. And all of a sudden I feel the need to rant to myself because either A, they thought I'd be too stupid to figure it out for myself, or B, they're so awful at their own jobs that they can't find any way of conveying it to the player naturally. You see this? This is my baby. My child. One of my favorite franchises of all time. It's called Resident Evil. And it's a survival horror shooter with moderate puzzling. And you want to know what they did to it? The baby-faced Ooga Booga retards who insist on accessibility? They painted the whole town yellow! Yes, thank you, game. If you didn't paint the entire ladder bright yellow so it sticks out like a sore thumb in any room no matter where you place it, I would have surely never figured out that ladders are for climbing on. And barrels? Never mind that it's universally understood by just about everyone that barrels are to be shot at in video games. Better just make those yellow too. You know what I loved in the original RE4? Going into all the houses in the village and looking closely at everything in them. Just trying to figure out, is there anything I can mess with here? It was fun combing through everything to see what clicks. Finding secrets, you know? In a puzzle game? But nope. I walk into the house. Oh, hey, that shelf is yellow. I guess I can push it. And then I push it. Puzzle over. That sure was fun. When you told me the solution instead of just letting me look around myself. Yeah. Good fun. Like, imagine if you signed up for an escape room and inside on the bookshelf, there's one single bright yellow colored book by the author James M. The code for the door is on his sticky note on page 3. It's like, well, thanks, asshole. What'd I even pay for then? I mean, do game designers just think we're stupid? No, they don't. My theory is that they think game journalists are stupid. Oh, you know, those older people who wanted a job at the New York Times, but who we all know will be stuck doing this demanding, crappy job they hate forever.
I want to be totally straightforward with you. You will never, in a million years, get a job at a publication as prestigious as the New York Times. That little pipe dream is never gonna happen. You will be blogging and tweeting until you are dead, and nobody will care. Nobody will ever read anything you wrote and say to themselves, "Man, this is important! I need to know more about this!" Nobody's ever gonna read a page that you wrote and say to themselves, "Damn, I'm glad I read that." They're just gonna, it's just fucking popcorn. You write the mental equivalent of popcorn.
I mean, come on. These are the people who could barely get past the tutorial level on Cuphead. These are the people who were completely brain-fucked by a puzzle intended for people of kindergarten-level intelligence.
In one section of the puzzle, all you need to do is stand on a button, and that button opens a gate for you to bowl a bubble into so you can progress. The only problem is that during SpongeBob's wind-up animation for bowling, he walks forward. That means you fall off of the button, which closes the gate and prevents you from bowling the bubble where you intended.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
We're seeing some shit we ain't never seen before, kid.
These are the people who year after year insist that Dark Souls needs an easy mode. I'm sorry, are you still waking up? Did you catch that? Let me repeat it just in case. They think Dark Souls, a game about overcoming hardship, needs an easy mode. I apologize. So you see, the process of harrowing symbolizes depression. When we give up on our aspirations and when we allow the world to bring us to our lowest point, in a way, we go horror in real life. And when you give up on the game, when you decide to call it quits forever, your character too goes horror. Okay, like, I see your point, and I super duper respect you as an artist. Like, go get that bag and all. But, like, adding an easy mode doesn't take away from the experience, okay? But that is the experience. Take all that away and you are left with a generic RPG with vague lore. And besides, if you really wanted to be that much of a pussy, you could have just made a sorcery build and summoned for every area with 20 Estus Frasks. Actually, you know what? It is fine. I will make a game specifically for you. It will be called Elden Ring, and you will be able to summon an entire legion of butt buddies to assist you in boss battles, so that you can sheepishly poke the boss when his back is turned. Every boss run back will be less than 50 feet, Breed will be ridiculously overpowered, and I will be adding a sorcery so powerful that it only needs to be used once to kill any enemy in the game. And don't worry, there will be people who say that your victory didn't count, but it did. When you sent those 2 phantoms from online play to go fight the boss up close while you sat 50 feet back and spammed your awesome laser beam spell, that was all you. Overcoming difficult hardships by using the most easy, minimal effort strategy possible. You really overcame all odds in that 3v1. Fucking casual. And you know what? You will still complain on Kotaku that the game is too difficult and inaccessible. Oh, I'm fading away. And you're exactly right, imaginary Miyazaki. You see, dear viewer, when a game journalist sucks big donkey dick at a game, he tends to get a little mad and score the game slightly lower. I mean, come on. If some of the people scoring your game have severe difficulties with puzzles intended for small children, it would probably worry you too. But, you know, maybe there are some people out there who genuinely need this. Like, you know, maybe having yellow paint actually really helps them. I get it, you know, I'm not heartless. I can understand that. So, what I'm proposing, as the nice guy that I am, you know, I can be fair. So I'm proposing that we have a pop-up box at the beginning of any game with yellow paint type stuff in it. It would probably be something like, you know, yes or no, do you want assistance? Do you want paint? Would you like some visual guidance in this game? You know, are you stupid? And then pro painters can just select yes. You know, game journalists can just select yes. And then the rest of us can just select no and be done with it. It's a pretty fair system, I think. You know, everyone wins in a way. We get to have our normal game where we use our brains, and the rest of them can just be spoon-fed colorful content like they want. You know, they can just breeze through a nice, easy experience without having to use their brains. At the end of the day, I suppose it doesn't matter because holy shit! Elden Ring DLC trailer just dropped. This is not a drill, man. Forget about finishing the video. I'm gonna go watch this 600 times. Fuck this. I'm so excited.